and I'm sitting here today, and that I can share today with you. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Did faith figure for you as a kid?
I think it had to. I didn't identify it. And if I look back, there were interventions in my life, usually by teachers that were faith-bound, that were giving strength. And I remember distinctly there was a period, which we won't go into now, we don't have enough time, but where my parents were away for about 2 months, and every meal was provided by teachers. And I got my first Bible from a teacher then who was saying, like, God's got a plan for you. And I cherished the Bible, but I never opened it. And that there's a theme that goes on there. They were very important to me. And I can only, hindsight is 20/20 vision. I can only see the hand of God in my life again and again and again, where I definitely didn't deserve it. But he was there keeping me safe.
Amazing. What encouragement to anyone in the room who's a teacher, just the impact that you don't know that you're having on the kids that you're serving. You mentioned Jackie, your wife. Tell us, how did you meet?
My trouble and strife.
Yeah. And how did you meet, and what was it about her that you first fell in love with?
Well, first I'd had about 12 beers, and I saw her on stage, and I thought, oh, this is something. But then
What was she doing on stage, just to be clear?
In the band.
Okay.
She was on the keys, she was looking amazing. And then when I got out the army, I wanted to save and make a big life and all that, and I grew my hair, saved enough money to buy a custom surfboard, and things were going south quite quickly. And I was working a double shift on a Monday, and in walked this beautiful blonde in a blue dress. She looked like Maid Marian, and I said to the guy next to me, I will marry that girl. And it was Jackie.
Oh, it was.
Cheers. Pretty cool.
That's how you met Jackie. How did you meet Jesus? When did you kind of develop a relationship with him that you would say, hey, I am now a Christ follower?
Sure, there were so many reasons for me to be grateful to Jesus, and there were so many barriers that I put in the way of that. And when Jackie met me, she had been a Christian for a long time, and we walked in the desert for a very long time because I was afraid of the things that I had to give up to follow Christ. And there are things in our lives that are very important, and during really down times, there are people that have been part of our lives who are not Christ followers. And I remember distinctly saying to Jackie, I can't be something that I'm not. I won't be a hypocrite. And therefore, I can't follow Christ. If I have to give up my friends who are non-conformist, living together, gay, are not followers, and I won't do that. And I kept this anger up quite a long time. And then we had children, and I looked at the face of God from a different perspective. And for you who haven't had kids yet, you will understand love like no other when you hold your child for the first time. And I thought, that this kind of hard-heartedness it's a little bit arrogant, and I definitely need help if I'm going to be the husband and father that I want to be. But I still had the barrier, and thank God for Jackie and her wisdom. And she was saying, listen, dude, our kids need a foundation, and we need to go to church, so we're going to find one. And what she was actually saying was, you need to find Jesus. But she's a lot more subtle than I am. I'm more like a brick through a windshield, and she's more like a breeze through the afternoon. And it's a persistent breeze. And one night I went for a run, and in our neighborhood you run out and then you can run up the hill, and I saw this guy running, and I started chatting to him, and we were looking for a church. And what was going to be a short run for him turned into quite a long run, because I can run and talk and talk and run. And he, being Stephen, again challenged me to just come, just be there. You don't have to do anything. There's no entry fee. You know, there's no key that you need to be holding. And it was a really big step and quite a scary step for me, because what if I was exposed? You know, what if all these perfect Christians looked at my life and saw inside my heart all these things going on? But hey, you know, what my wife says goes. So we were at church, and I really started to feel the difference and to be able to pin a label on the miracles in our lives, and they've been countless, and you can only accredit them to Jesus.
Wonderful. That was, I still remember that run. Every time we came to a hill, he'd say, "You ask me a question and I'll talk," because I was unable to get my breath at this point. But you seem now to be somebody who, having taken a long journey, a long time in the desert, having a lot of battles to come to faith, seem very, you find it very easy to share your faith, to talk openly about it, and to encourage others towards it. Why is that? So many find it so tough. Why is it you seem to find it so easy?
So, there are a lot of glib answers behind that, but let me try and... When I'm proud of something, the reason I have one job and the reason I have one wife and don't operate in the shadows is because I'm too loud and I have a very short-term memory. So I like everyone to know what's going on in my life. You know, there's what you see is what you get, and it does get me into trouble sometimes because I'm quite loud. But the thing about shouting about Jesus changing my life is it's not an admission of weakness. And that was the cathartic moment, was it's okay not to do life on your own. It's actually, how could you do life without Jesus? And that took a while for me, because in the job that I have and the work that I do, I'm always having to provide answers for people and to make plans and to do stuff. And you get used to this and you almost get bigger than yourself. And it's really humbling to say, well, actually, I need a little bit of help. I can't do this on my own. And once you start tapping into this life, how can you keep it a secret? You can't. You know, I look at someone, how do you do life without God? Do you know, honestly, in Johannesburg, where you're going to get hijacked at every robot, you're going to get retrenched next Wednesday, and the economy is going through the toilet. How do you do this without faith? And I find it really easy to ask people like, well, you're carrying that all on your own. I've got a better way, you know, but the better way really takes I'm quite slow on the uptake, but once I've got it, then I'm really, then I'm going home to go. I've got no problem to tell. There is a story in Saudi Arabia a couple of months ago where I had two Syrians, a Palestinian and a Jordanian around the table, and we were talking about the Jewish problem. And I said, you know what's nice in my faith is that everyone is welcome. And Jackie was sure that I was going to be put into prison in Saudi, but I'm not, you know, and I don't know how I get. Somebody said where angels fear to tread, Daniel goes at a run, you know, and I am protected, and I believe my name means let God be my judge, which means he's watching all the time. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky that way.
One of the ways that we want to help introduce people to Jesus is through the Alpha course, which we're going to be running from May onwards. You've done an Alpha course. You're going to give somewhat of an upfront lead to it this year. Why would you encourage to come to Alpha or to bring people to Alpha?
Well, about 75% of our mates are non-believers, and what a nice way to go through that journey of answering all the questions that I'm not equipped to answer. And, you know, if you want to share at the banquet table with your besties, they've got to understand what the party's about. And I'm not equipped to share that. And I don't feel comfortable taking them through that. But the Alpha course is just a paint by numbers to eternity. You know, you can't, there's nothing better. You know, the first thing is read the Bible. The second thing is go on Alpha. And if you've got anybody in your life that you want to go on this journey and you want to infuse them with the Spirit, and you don't know how, send them on Alpha. You know, I learned so much, and it joins the dots for you in things like, how can you prove that God exists? Now, for most of us, it's like, obviously God exists. Have you looked at a child? Have you looked at a plant? But some people say that this is like an explosion of atoms. Well, Alpha takes you through that.
Final question, Daniel. You came to faith, you've grown in faith, you've been involved in church life, and yet you have wrestled over the decision to be baptized, and not even the persistent breeze could get you into the baptism pool. And this was a kind of sticking block for you until December, and then suddenly, spontaneously, you got baptized in a chilly lake in Chile.
It was a big December, I ate a lot.
We can see how God is by how pink you are. So, what was the catalyst? Why suddenly get baptized? Why did you wrestle with it, and why would you encourage people who are wrestling with being baptized to do that?
So I'm not a tremendously obedient child, and it takes a lot, and the responsibility of baptism is one public acknowledgement. He is my Savior, and I'm going to stand there, and that comes as a double-edged sword for me, I thought, is that you have to be somebody. You know, you have to attain this level. It's kind of like TV games. Level 1 is beginner, and then master, and all the rest of it. And through the learning of a child who's sitting over there, she was saying, I just want to be loved, and I want to be never without Jesus, and I want everyone to know that. And she actually led me to baptism. And all the arguments from all the big people around in my life, and I'm surrounded by amazing believers in my life. I had an answer for all of them, but when my daughter said, like, I don't want to be out of that. And the prequel picture, the previous picture is actually of Jess being baptized. And she said, I'm going to be baptized. I feel God now. I feel this, and I want to make it public. And I said, I don't have any other argument. And there is no reason, there's nothing that I have to bring to this party. He's done it all. And, you know, if you haven't been baptized and you want to feel the weight of everything that you're carrying just go away, just be baptized, take his yoke.
Daniel, thank you.